Let's get it. Subscribe to the channel. Let me do this. Let me do this. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I go by the name of God Game, and welcome back to the channel. The second channel. Okay, y'all see the title. Y'all see the thumbnail. Today we're finna react to How to Beat Anime. And this is how to beat the fish walker in what that Jiro Tokyo Fish Attack. Bro, I don't know. I just saw the thumbnail. I clicked it like a green little thing, so I had to click on it. I don't know. I never saw this right here, so you already know. I want to see how we can beat this. I need the info. I need to learn. Teach me the way. Show me the light on how to beat Jiu. I never saw the anime right here before, bro. So Tokyo Fish Attack. So you already know. Link up down in the description below. Like, comment, subscribe. And what I further do, man, I'm a slogan. I am the greatest. I am the worst. I am God. Got the next video. What's with these gonna be? It's quality. I wanted this on is this on Crunchyroll? Cause you know, like I said, I got a lot of Crunchyroll, so I gotta check and see if it's on Crunchyroll.
The world as you know it has changed forever. The country is being invaded by fishwalkers.
Oh, I'm gonna say it don't ants.
Fish with giant legs hellbent on killing everyone you know.
What?
And amidst the chaos, you must find your missing boyfriend before he dies. Or worse, turns into a fishwalker himself. I'm going to break down the mistakes
Wait, is that a short?
What you should do and how to beat the fishwalkers in Gyo.
Oh, Gyo.
It's another senior year done, and Kaori here is out on a relaxed grad trip in Okinawa with her two best friends, shy and introverted Aki and the town flirt Erika. The gang is hoping to relax a bit after a stressful year. However, what they don't know is that by tomorrow morning, nothing will ever be the same ever again. That night, as they reach their house, they come across the worst smell ever. I'm talking human corpses and rotting eggs. Nasty. As the three begin to open all the windows, they suddenly notice something moving around the house. A bug, maybe? Too quick to notice, they try to catch it.
Hey, they look like a little roach or something.
However, Kaori manages to squash it with some good old furniture as they see their new house guest is not a bug, but a fish with legs.
Okay. Wait, how can they walk? They got gills. How can they breathe? I mean, they got gills.
Are you looking at that thing?
I think
it looks more disgusting than food poisoning after sushi. There's no way in hell I'm on cleanup duty, and in fact, there was a better way to handle this, and one that would have been less trouble and potentially a lot less messy. If I were the girls, I would block off parts of the house with the couch and other furniture, leaving only one exit for the creature to escape. I would then carefully chase that little shit out of the house, forcing it to follow my newly created route. The windows and doors are already open, so might as well use them and get that thing out of there, making it someone else's problem, and in this way, you can avoid cleanup duty. Jokes aside though, we need to get a pic of this thing and send it to the interwebs ASAP. I know Japan has done some weird creepy crawlies, but this thing just doesn't seem right. I'd snap a mugshot of this bad boy and post it at the very least.
I seen it on for the FBI, and they like the scientists, they like look this up, bro.
On the What Is This Bug subreddit to gauge
something like that.
Of what it is that I'm actually dealing with. Because this thing is not normal, and things are about to get
a whole lot worse.
It won't be another 24 hours until this thing really hits the fan. And this was an opportunity for them to prep for what's to come. The next day, as everyone chills out, town flirt Erika decides to invite some boys into her room for some, playtime. Then as this happens, a giant shark with legs attacks them through the window, scaring the hell out of everyone, and forcing the group to take refuge in the upstairs bedroom. But not before
you saw how that thing walked?
The dynamic shows its true colors. Erika's boy toys leave without any regards for the girls. Aki's so hysterical that her paralyzing fear makes her more like a decapitated chicken. And the town flirt herself, Erika, is more selfish than Griffith from Berserk. Just as when it looks as if
why she would kick her?
Hope is gone, clever Kaori, like a matador to a bull, leads the giant shark right out of the window and down to its death. As she catches her breath, she notices the streets are filled with these things.
Well, my thing is, how are they breathing? They got gills. What? No, they stay on the water. I'm thinking they're zombies though. I believe they're zombies. They gotta be zombies, bro. They gotta be.
Fishes with legs. As armies of these fishwalkers pass her house coming straight from the sea itself. Okay, this just officially ruined my girl's trip. And sharks with legs? I mean, talk about your worst nightmare. But let's talk about Kaori and her shark taming skills for a bit.
Yeah.
She did a great job in keeping herself level-headed in a crisis.
That's
However,
good.
I would have used that time locked up in the bedroom as time we could have used to escape. The house is only 2 floors up, and the standard height for a 2-story residential home is usually between 18 to 20 feet high. This is great news for us, as falls more than 20 feet will likely result
you won't
in
really
a
hurt
trip to
yourself.
the emergency room, meaning
Yeah.
we can jump it. What they
Yeah.
could do to lessen the distance between them and the ground would be to lower themselves from the roof and hang down directly from it, allowing them to more safely bridge the gap between themselves and the hard ground. And what about rolling upon landing? Well, while it would help lessen their chances of twisting an ankle upon landing, I just don't think they would have the best leverage by hanging in order to land and then roll due to their starting static position, as
Yeah.
rolling is done best when done with momentum. As the girls catch their breath from the madness, Kaori gets a call from her fiancé in Tokyo, who checks in on her, though their romance is cut short as Kaori's fiancé is headbutted headfirst by a fishwalker, causing the
Oh.
bone to cut. And Kaori
Also, he done. God, he just got eaten.
begins to panic. She's a strong one though. She immediately begins packing her bag straight for Tokyo as she wastes no time. She's determined
Yeah, he gone. He gone. So she leaving. I wouldn't blame her, man.
to find her fiancé before he dies.
Oh, she's
and
trying
the
to look
world
for him.
ends for good. Though Kaori makes for a bad friend, as she abandons Erika and poor wide-eyed Aki. But
Hmm.
personally, I would have done the same. And whilst it's always better to
Hey,
travel
now
in
it's a
groups,
run.
bringing someone who cannot handle stressful situations may
Yeah.
prove to be a liability.
Yeah, I probably gonna have left her. I probably gonna get rid of her then. If she gonna be a waste of space in my circle, bro. I can't have no one weak like that. But I might still have her in the group. You only get one chance. And if you mess up, you're done. You're out. I ain't got time for that weak. I ain't got time for that weak crap. No.
Slowing you down and as a
Exactly.
result, becoming a bigger problem than it's worth.
Exactly.
And traveling solo, if need be, can have its own benefits.
That'd be the best
We
way
can
to
set
go.
our own pace, plan moves without any discussions or arguments, and let's be honest.
I agree.
We've seen this group in action as a team.
That ain't no good. Yeah, that's why she was kicking her like, yo, this is not teamwork right here. And she asking for help too, man. That's sad.
I mean, we're no Avengers, that's for sure. Aki, while a sweetheart, is dead weight. And those bad boys, well, they're useless. And while Erika has the fiery spunk in her knee,
Yeah, she got that talk, that motivation type, but she fold under pressure.
to be appropriately ruthless during tough times. Her character trait makes for her to be a terrible teammate.
Yeah.
She'll sell me out to the fishes.
Yeah.
Literally, the first chance she gets. Hey,
Mm.
unless I want to die straight in Act 1, I'm taking nobody from this group.
Heck yeah, man. Forget them. Solo, lone wolf. That's all I need.
Port. Kaori luckily manages to grab a plane as chaos continues to sweep through Japan and the world. On the plane, she comes across a freelance news cameraman who informs her that he lost contact with everyone in Tokyo. Just as they near Tokyo's Haneda Airport, it turns out that the runway is overrun with, you
fish.
guessed it, fishwalkers. Low on fuel and with little option, they make a forced and what looks like a really rough landing. In
But they landed on all them fishes though, so they should have had a nice little land.
fact, I'm shocked they made it out alive. From the airport, Kaori decides to go by train and head to her fiancé's work studio in Odaiba, and the cameraman follows her, and they both head to the trains. Okay, while suspicious, as I said in times of crisis, it's better to travel in groups. Now I know what you're gonna say. We left Aki and everyone else in oh boo-hoo. Look, bringing people who cannot
Yeah, I probably used them for my advantage. That I do. That ain't me though. Just saying, bro.
handle stressful situations or process dynamic thinking on the fly could be the worst thing we could do, and they could just prove to be a liability, slowing us down and possibly getting us hurt or killed in the process. Remember, we're trying to save our fiancé, and the whole world is about to self-destruct. We don't have time to babysit anyone. But this cameraman seems to be a solid contender, and one we can use, at least for now, to help us survive.
Yeah.
Remember, she's not trained for this, and thus as fatigue and stress begins to set in, which they will, then the sharing of responsibilities will prove to be paramount in our survival situation, when one teammate can rely on the other to catch their breath, as we can only go on so long until we actually need a break. That was weird of them taking the plane, because just like playing Matador with the shark earlier, taking a plane was way too risky. It's obvious to assume that if fishwalkers are taking over Japan, that the airports will obviously be one of the first to go and or become inoperable, making planes as a mode of transportation extremely risky, as they can only land in certain areas and rely on fuel. And it doesn't help that Japan's terrain is mostly rugged and mountainous, with 66% of its landmass covered in forests, meaning an emergency landing out of the blue anywhere is a tall order to ask for. Whilst not in Kaori's control, landing at Tokyo's Haneda Airport was risky for a number of reasons that could have been avoided beforehand. It's noted that the fishwalkers are rising up from the shorelines of Japan, meaning the coastal parts of the country will be the first to collapse. However, it's reasonable to assume that if we land a little further away from the coast, that the airports further inland will be much more likely to still be intact, without any fishwalkers nearby just yet.
Also, shooting them won't do nothing? Like, don't you shoot them in the brain? Like, if you shoot them in the brain, or at least shoot them in the leg, can't that like slow them down? Like, shoot them in the leg? I don't know.
Yet. Chofu Airport, for instance. This airport is located 39 kilometers away from Haneda Airport and is one such airport that will likely still be operational and untouched by the fishwalkers because it's further inland and not on the coast where the fishes are. However, Chofu Airport is still close enough to main Tokyo for us to drive back by car or train in order to reach our fiancé. At around 36 minutes by car or
How about the dude? We're gone. I think he dead.
107 minutes by train back to Tokyo. It also doesn't help to land at Haneda Airport during a global disaster, as even during their good old days, Haneda Airport, due to their steep descent approach regulations, officially makes this airport one of the most difficult airports in the world to land at. If you really wanted to play it safe, and I mean super safe, then we could also take a boat and or bribe someone to take us by boat. And besides, I have many Pokemon cards and maybe
look at them Charizard.
As with all the fishwalkers vacating the sea, it's safe to assume that the seas have never been safer than they are now, as the aquatic party is now on land. Though the ride from Okinawa to Tokyo would take around 25 hours, and to be fair, I don't know if our fiancé could wait 25 hours for us to rescue him.
Yeah, no, like he just got aim. I believe he got aim. I think he gone. This dude is gone, bro.
Maybe this situation could be a case example of a
That's
time
new
when
boyfriend right
there
now.
aren't
They gotta
any
be
good options, only safer options. Kaori and the cameraman board a train to Odaiba, though their ride is brutally cut short as another fishwalker forces the train to derail and crash, leaving everybody with some serious scratches. Perfect timing though, as they get news from the conductor that all trains are down, forcing Kaori and the cameraman to walk rest of the way to Otori Station. As they resurface from the metro at the next station, it seems as though the world is truly on the brink of destruction, as this place is even worse off than Tokyo Airport itself. Death and destruction surround the two, as Kaori suddenly gets a call from her fiancé, though yet again the call is cut short as the connection turns unstable. The two head for an abandoned truck just as they encounter a massive shark walker, which is problematic.
It's a great white shark.
As he's ready for lunch, the two run down an alley and hop over a gated fence, barely escaping with their lives.
Wait a minute, can't that fish that break, can't that shark that break through that thing that big?
But not before their boss fight with, oh my gosh, it's a monster octopus! Nasty. Tentacles flying everywhere. Kaori takes a good beating as the cameraman manages to escape to the truck. But
how can you beat that? That thing got 8 legs.
Not before he backs up hard and fast straight into the monster octopus, saving Kaori and escaping yet again.
Oh, that good right there.
This is getting absurd. Taking a train was not a bad idea, as cars in this situation will likely jam most likely, streets, though from when they hop off the train, they look as if they were sitting near the front end of the train. Yet again, they were lucky to escape this situation with their lives, though what they could have done better was to situate themselves in the middle of the train. When involving front end or rear end collisions, the middle of the train is the safest spot to be, and one with the biggest likelihood of survival in worst case situations. And literally, one of the first things I would have done once out of the station would have been to try and gear up. This means purchasing or even downright stealing different—
Yeah, I'm gonna say I'd steal something if someone got some guns on them. Yeah, my life on the line, bro.
Types of knives and or makeshift weapons that I would be able to use against the fishwalkers. Guns, while not outright—
yeah, guns, but I wouldn't use like bats, cause bats and stuff like that, bro, you gotta use weapons.
illegal, are extremely hard to get in Japan. So realistically, unless we see a downed police officer, there's little chance of us finding one. And while we're at it, let's not forget to forage for a makeshift emergency kit, as we're kind of in the middle of an emergency disaster.
And they just send
And
them.
whilst we should have already had these bags prepped from beforehand, doing it now is the next best thing. We need to be on the lookout for the most basic of disaster kit items, at least for now. This means packing at the very least a 3-day supply of food, a battery-powered hand-cranked radio, flashlight, first aid kit, extra batteries, a whistle to signal for help. I would also get a dust mask, plastic sheeting, duct tape, wrench, pliers, lots of tools. I know.
And like some tissue just in case.
It's a lot of information to get through, but remember, we're not just trying to save our fiancé, we're trying to survive. We need to start thinking about the steps after our fiancé is saved. Escaping the shark walker through the gate was yet another close call. During times of hostile engagement, you'll want to minimize your enemy's line of sight as much as possible. God forbid if we didn't make that gate jump, then I would have aimed a rock, spear, or freaking cell phone straight for their eyes and gills, as these spots make for the most effective pressure points against sharks.
Yeah. The gills coming out the legs.
To deter them from attacking you. The truck itself was a good play by the cameraman. However, I would take it one step further and stop at a grocery store, 7-Eleven, or an available restaurant nearby to pick up throwable slabs of meat to store.
Oh yeah, I do that. Like to bait them, like to get them that to eat. I'm getting the heck out.
Or in the back of that KE truck, which is a popular truck in Japan and one that can carry up to 770 pounds. This extra meat could have also saved our butts from that carnivorous octopus, which we, if we actually got trapped by it, really couldn't have done much to save us. We'll have to give it to the cameraman for saving our butts on this one. As they drive on, hoping to find Kaori's fiancé at last, they finally get near Odaiba, but stop just shy of the bridge entrance. Turns out the army is quarantining the area as the military tries to contain the fishwalkers by the shoreline. Not knowing if her fiancé is dead or alive and unable to get through the soldiers, Kaori begins to break down crying as the cameraman takes her to his apartment for some much needed rest and time to think. At the apartment, the two hold up.
Dang, that messed up. And they knew. And they knew, man, what was going on too. But they using them as like subjects and tests and like tests like a lab rat. That's pretty much what they doing to them.
As chaos engulfs the whole of Tokyo. Through the cameraman's news connections, they find out that humans are contracting a virus through any cuts or bites given from the fishwalkers. Though other news stations claim that the government is denying this. Hold on, didn't we see Kaori get cut earlier? Seeing the news also, they spot Kaori's fiancé's uncle, a famous scientist and a man who possibly might know where Kaori's fiancé is. Wasting not 1 minute, they leave to pay him a visit in Shirogane. If we're getting cut by mysterious monster fish, and the news now tells me I might turn into one of them, I would first see if the cameraman has any first aid or disinfectants. Anything to try and clean the wound first and foremost. As virus or not, this is just good hygiene to practice, especially since when services like hospitals are likely to be overrun and or not functioning. I would also tell the cameraman to keep a close eye on me and watch for any symptoms caused by viral diseases. The most common being flu-like symptoms such as fever, irritability, nausea, vomiting, excessive fussiness, and more. I would also take this time to gather my bearings about my situation by looking at various information outlets like Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and more. While it is good to look at what the government is saying, in times of crisis, it is more likely that the government would take priority in preventing mass hysteria from taking place among the public, as is the case of any nation during times of crisis. And the last thing anyone wants is for
people to panic. They'll try to deny all that. That's a hoax. A hoax, whatever they call it. Yeah, it's that.
People to panic. This is why relying on various media outlets through social media networks would be the better option, as this will allow us to get the inside scoop as to what is happening around us. And I know what you're thinking. If Kaori's arm got infected, couldn't she have just chopped it off? And the answer to that is no, she couldn't have. Despite how zombie movies make it seem, chopping infected appendages off in order to prevent a virus or pathogen from passing through your body is a myth, and one that is actually not possible to do. Blood flows at an average speed of 3 to 4 miles per hour, which is fast enough to ensure that whatever is injected into your system will be able to reach your brain in a matter of seconds. No matter if you get cut or bitten in your arm or pinky toe, your blood is too fast for any of that. Kaori and the cameraman reach her fiancé's uncle's house, but he's nowhere to be found. However, they stumble upon an open computer and discover that the uncle has been researching the virus, studying it in great detail.
I knew it. He used them as lab rats.
Also find a video of him experimenting on his own infected arm,
Oh,
thanks to an
asshole.
attack by a fish walker. Here we learned what the uncle learns, that the fish walkers are composed of mechanical parts, and that the gas that these creatures release are part of the reason why they can move, as their gas is used as a power source to make the machines move. We also learned that the virus is a type of bacillus, a type of bacteria that the Japanese army during World War II found in a fish and tried to weaponize it by creating machines to use the gas as power. However, the batch of weapons was destroyed by the American military, who sunk the only existing sample of these machines as they were transported by sea, causing the program to be shelved forever. We then discover our fiancé in the video, and it turns out he's alive. Or maybe not, as he suddenly collapses in the video. Thankfully, Kaori recognizes the video and knows where they are. They're in the basement lab. Kaori then rushes downstairs as the cameraman steals all the files from the computer. They bust down the entrance door to find the fiancé as a human fish walker.
Oh
Kaori
my
was too
God.
late to save her one true love.
Man, your own hit. You let the uncle did that to his own. Come on, bro. Why would you do that? That subject, man. Oh my God. I got so much to say. Oh, I don't know what to start. Loud rat. Oh my God. Trying to find a cure. You gonna use it on your nephew? Ugh.
Turns out that the uncle is batshit crazy and wants to continue to research and improve upon this fishwalker's creation by scientifically creating a newly improved robotic body where the infected humans can reside as their body slowly loses the ability to walk, eventually relying on the robot machines entirely. So that's how they move. The fish are infected with this bacteria, and they are able to move thanks to their farts, basically, which powers their robotic legs. And as an infected human mutates, they slowly rely more and more on the machine to make them move, all thanks to their farts. Brilliant! Or crazy,
dog.
not sure. As Kaori slumps in defeat at the shock of her now mutated monster fiancé, the
Yeah, I'm like, that crazy, man. Like, the uncle did, why? Crazy, man.
cameraman goes to comfort her. But then, Kaori's mutated boyfriend attacks the cameraman. The fiancé also attacks the uncle scientist, infecting
he probably still got some of his whatever.
him in the process before escaping the science lab. Depressed Kaori then leaves the lab and walks aimlessly in the streets. Her one true love is gone forever. However, she doesn't have too much time to mourn as she comes face to face with a soldier and a ginormous one-of-a-kind human fishwalker mega monster. Turns out this mega monster somehow managed to learn to control the gases that it puts out, using something straight out of science fiction to use its gas to forcibly suck up any and all mutated humans into joining its body. Hold up, are we seeing things or is this for real? This has just gone from a world changed by a global bacteria to a, oh shit, now we're on acid type of scenario cause nothing else makes sense. From the looks of things, firearms and bullets will do little damage.
Yeah,
in fact,
no
it only
effects.
makes this thing more aggressive.
Yeah, you gonna have no effect.
In this case, I think the best thing to do is little to nothing at all. I know, crazy, but I think the
Yeah,
best course of
run.
action is to treat this beast like an actual beast from the jungle, namely a tiger. This fish monster seems to be doing its own thing, so I would back away slowly, making sure not to antagonize it until I disappear with little fuss behind a car, wall, or some kind of structure bigger than myself in order to break its line of sight. Now we know at the very least that this bacteria is not simply transmissible by direct contact, but also by air, at least from what the gases make it seem. And if that's the case, then I'm taking no chances. We need to suit up with a gas mask. Getting out of its way, Kaori heads down a street where she stumbles upon a circus tent in the middle of the road. Inside she sees, wait a minute, it's her fiancé and the cameraman. The fiancé looks to be tied up by some circus performers as the cameraman tries to free him. In the mess of a situation, the meatball fiancé escapes the tent, with Kaori not far behind, though their celebration is cut short, as it turns out
I feel sorry for him now, man. Like, dang.
right outside their tent is the very same mutant human army that they were trying to get away from, and oh, now they're in trouble. This is where I feel the need to point out that while terrible and sad, I would make us leave the fiancé for good. There's no conceivable way that we can take on this army of infected humans, and the fact that my fiancé is too far gone makes it that much more likely that I can't do anything to save him without dying and or getting further infected myself. Plus, like this giant mega monster meatball we saw earlier, we've seen signs throughout that these fishwalkers and mutated humans are on their own mission. We've seen them travel in groups and ignore people at times, meaning they have their own agenda. Kaori, in a desperate last attempt, calls out to her mutated fiancé, and just as all hope is nearly lost, The fiance begins to shove it towards Kaori. However, all of a sudden, the mutant army pounces on the fiance,
Oh, man.
slowly but surely killing him in the process. Much to Kaori's distraught pleas, as the fiance gets buried underneath the army, his arm reaches out to Kaori one last time before being swallowed up whole. Later on,
dang. Oh my God. So he's still with them. Oh, that's kind of sad. That's sad, bro. Oh my God.
distraught Kaori sits defeated on a bench, and the cameraman confesses to her that his job this whole time was to interview her fiancé and his famous scientist uncle. We also hear from him, according to the news, that the remaining survivors are leaving the country by ship from Odaiba shore. Before the two head off, cameraman reveals that he's been infected, and we see that he's already showing signs of turning into one of those mutated creatures. Though Kaori's arm is fine, maybe she's part of the cure? As a last act, cameraman gives Kaori the thumb drive containing all of the Uncle Scientist's files on the bacteria, hoping maybe one day she can help the world find a cure for the outbreak that took everything from her. And if you don't want to end up as a human being,
there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Oh God, yo, I never saw that. Like, I feel sorry for her fiance, man. Like, he was trying to reach out for her, and like, oh man, that kind of, I'm gonna have me a little water up a little bit, but man, oh my God, that part hit me a little bit. So you already know, man. Link up in the description below. Like, comment, subscribe.